came out to the garden this morning and oh my goodness, do you see what I see?
It is officially tomato season. Oh my goodness. And some more. Yes, yes, yes.
I'll pick these ones and see how many we have, but basically this means canning season is upon us. We like to can a bunch of ketchup, salsa, tomato sauce, pizza sauce, all the things, and so this is the start of that and I am so thrilled. So if you also garden, let me know in the comments below what you are currently harvesting, but looks like tomatoes is it for us. I also do have some peppers to pick here while I'm out.
Tomato, it looks perfectly good on top, but the bottom has this black spot, and this is a sign of calcium deficiency. I'll try to put on screen here what we apply for this, but all of our tomato plants started out looking like this, and obviously now we're starting to get a lot of really nice tomatoes. So if you have a couple like this, do not pull out your plants because that can be remedied. Leaving the garden, I'm noticing here that my little cherry tomatoes also have some ripe ones. I'm trying to think what I could use those for in a recipe today. Ketchup before and it was bland and not very tasty. I would highly recommend trying this recipe. This is actually my mom's recipe, and I have heard of so many people that are like homemade ketchup is just kind of, yeah, bland, and have tried this recipe and love it. So it is super easy. I'll leave the recipe in the description box below, but also take you through a bit of it here. So what we're going to start off with, I'm just going to take my tomatoes, cut the stems off, and a couple of them still have a little bit of the brown, like calcium deficient bottom.
Can you get the yucky stuff off?
Yeah, we'll cut it off, and we will cut it off before we put it in here, because the rest of the tomato is still perfectly good. And then Josh is actually out there right now with the other kids. They're treating the tomatoes again. When this calcium deficiency has already started, we will treat them twice a week until that resolves itself. So hopefully by the next video I have beautiful, perfect tomatoes, but these will still be super delicious. So I'm gonna go ahead, just cut the stems off, juice them, and then we'll mix everything in a pot.
over 24 cups of tomato juice here. So to that, I'm gonna add 6 cups sugar, 2.5 cups white vinegar, 3/4 teaspoon allspice, 1/4 teaspoon cloves, 1/2 cup of salt, 2 teaspoons onion powder, 1 teaspoon garlic powder, and 4 13-ounce cans of tomato paste. Now we are gonna cook this at a simmer for 2 hours. Okay, we are 2 hours later and our ketchup is finally thick. I am going to add a 1/2 cup of cornstarch mixed in some water yet to make sure that it is good. But it's amazing how it cooks down a little bit over this time and just, yeah, definitely starts to thicken. Here I just started boiling my water. I mentioned this the other time when I was canning, but I actually like to boil my canning lids so that it softens the rubber on the inside, and that just makes for a better seal. Now, I am not telling you to do this at home because I know there's a lot of opinions on like what methods of canning are safe and all of that, but what I have done for years with great success is actually baking jars. I don't do this with everything. There are things you do have to pressure can or water bath can, but things like ketchup I do in my oven at 225 for 20 minutes, and you can fit so much more in there than in a pot of water, and they have done really well for me, staying sealed and all of that. We used all of ours within a year, and so I don't know if they would keep for years and years, but so far I have no complaints doing it that way, and that's what we're gonna do here today. Things are never dull around here. Current activity is moving pigs up into a new pen, and this is kind of cracking me up, but hey, as long as we get them there, we're good. Wow, that was wild. So it's actually a couple of days later now. 2 nights ago, we had a pretty big storm roll in, which I think I mentioned on here before, how desperately we needed rain. Our corn was starting to look like pineapple plants, all the things. Over the last couple of days, we've actually gotten a little over 2 inches, which is such a gift. Hopefully our grass will now turn from brown back to green again. But it got a little intense. 2 evenings ago, we had just like this downpour. I took a little video on my phone, maybe I can insert that, was just dumping rain, and then it got fierce windy. There was some, I think we had almost tornadoes come through. We have a path in our tree line that's just like this one spot, 2 giant trunks like knocked over, and yeah, it got pretty intense, and then very suddenly it was done. But we're grateful we're all okay. Our house is okay, but our electricity is not yet okay. So we have not had electricity now for the last 2 days. So if you hear a loud humming sound, that's the generator, because you gotta keep fans going in the barns for the cows. And it's also such a blessing for our freezers and things like that. But we're gonna do a little bit of outside work here this morning. I am quite behind in picking my peppers. They are actually starting to rot on the tips, and so I really need to get those picked. I need to check on the tomatoes. We also, yesterday, we were running some errands and picked up another big bag of these tomato vine clips because yes, I'm still staking up my tomatoes. That's really cool. So I'd like to work on this now, and then we have friends coming around noon for a picnic, a little play date this afternoon. These are the little snack peppers that we planted this spring, started from seed. These are so sweet and delicious. So excited they're finally ready. All right, filled the basket. Maybe we'll be canning peppers today. Airflow is essential, and then tying them up just really helps the stems not to break off once the fruit gets heavy. So we are gonna just keep tying up the stems. I think at this point they're getting taller than me, so we'll see how high they keep growing. Sometime later, we are finally gonna call it good for this box. There's a couple branches in the middle that I have not got, but it is a lot better. You can see we're actually past our posts here, which is exciting. I guess I should have made those longer, but I have another box to go, and then also the arch here with the little cherry tomatoes. It is just after 7 on a Saturday morning, and I'm talking quietly because some of the kids are still sleeping. So I have been trying to get Saturday into a little bit more of a routine. I feel like there's things that tend to just kind of fall by the wayside, such as cleaning the fridge. The tractors are not sleeping. I don't know if you can hear that. Josh, of course, has been hard at work since like 5 o'clock this morning, but some things are just so easy to let fall by the wayside, and I had been noticing a couple things that consistently felt dirty, and so I tried to kind of make those be part of my Saturday routine. So that includes cleaning the fridge, it includes cleaning the stove, and it includes cleaning the inside of the van. That is my bread timer. I got up at 3:20-ish this morning to fill up my water and realized my bread was literally dumping out of the bowl. So I shaped it then, and anyways, it's just done baking now. But we're gonna be working on some of those things. I also have laundry to do, maybe a bit of cleaning, transplanting, things like that. Lots of odds and ends this morning here, so.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
So canning, freezing, even dehydrating are things that I grew up with, kind of just ingrained in me. That's how we do it. I've done it a lot, but something new to me that I'm very excited to get into is freeze drying. You can probably see my freeze dryer in the mirror there. I'll show you a better picture of it here and what I'm using it for, but I'm really excited to give it a try. I've heard so many good things about freeze drying, and I know a lot of people are big into like freeze drying meatloaf and lasagna and like all these meals. That is not my main purpose for getting a freeze dryer. I'm specifically looking to be freeze drying my own herbs to hopefully last through the winter. I don't think I'll have quite enough this year planted, but it's something I want to keep in mind next year as I'm planting, to plant a lot of herbs for freeze drying. Things like snacks, so like dried or freeze-dried bananas, freeze-dried strawberries, and a lot of things like that. So not saying I won't do actual meals, it's just taking me a little longer to warm up to that idea. I'm so used to freezing that kind of thing, but they say that freeze drying preserves way more nutrients than either canning or freezing, and so that's definitely something I'm interested in. I will link the one that I have down below. It is the medium size and it's from Harvest Right. So far I'm really happy with it. I've done maybe 5 batches so far, so I'm pretty new. If you have a freeze dryer, I would love to know how you are using it, what your favorite things are to freeze dry. But it was beeping this morning and saying that this cycle is done. So I'm gonna take these out. Kind of forget what we put in there. Oh, Kyra made yogurt drops. She really wanted to try those. We have some bananas in there, maybe some raspberries, and then I'm gonna load it up with strawberries. I did pop them into the freezer first because they say that they freeze dry quicker if it's frozen ahead of time, so I was able to get a bunch of strawberries for a really good price at the store here, and so I thought those would be fun to freeze dry as well. And I actually have been enjoying putting the freeze dried berries into the granola, which is really fun. Is retained in these is absolutely astounding to me. I mean, this is raspberries. They're completely dry, but still beautiful and red. And so the other day I was actually making ice cream and I was like, I should make like a raspberry chocolate ice cream. And I ended up just throwing a bunch of these into my Vitamix, blending them into a powder, and it was the most delicious raspberry flavor. Plus, if you do that, you can actually use this as food coloring, just like as a powder. I bought that before just off of Amazon for birthdays. I know one year for Josh's birthday, we got this like vibrant blue color from butterfly pea powder, which is a plant, and that's all that's done to it. Is it's just freeze dried and ground into a powder, and you can make really not healthy looking frostings. But you're not using any food coloring. So anyway, that's a fun little fact, but I just cannot get over the color of these. We picked a bunch of tomatoes in the garden yesterday, and what I find to be super helpful when you are gardening and wanting to like can and preserve things from the garden is to pick them when they're ripe, obviously, but then I don't always can them immediately. I'll put them in a Ziploc bag like this and pop them into the fridge. That way I don't have 50 batches of 2 quarts of salsa or whatever, but I can just kind of store them in there for a couple days, even up to a week. Maybe I've done it longer than that, but just to keep them fresh while I gather more to make enough for like a big batch of something, because I just find all that work of canning, it's nice to just do it in big batches rather than all these tiny little increments. So these I'm actually hoping to make my famous peach salsa, if I can call it that. I have given this recipe to so many family and friends. It is absolutely delicious. This year I might actually switch it up to nectarines, but I'm hoping to share that with you here within the next couple of videos in case you're interested as well. But these are gonna go in the fridge. These just... Almost forgot that I have some more baking to do. Yesterday afternoon, Leslie actually mixed these sourdough strawberry muffins for me. Same recipe, different berry. That they've been wanting to have muffins for breakfast, so we're gonna do that here this morning. And then I also mixed up some sourdough like s'more cookies, and we'll get to that maybe this afternoon. Kind of want to get some other things done this morning first. Mainly because I don't want cookies sitting around all morning because we're not having cookies for breakfast. But these will be a delicious way for the kids to start the morning.
We need cups, bunch of cups. We need bunch of cups.
Are those your recipes?
Yeah,
What are you making?
muffins.
Oh, okay.
I see you in everything.
We
You're
don't need
working
more.
it
We don't
all.
need any. So it says, pick some more potatoes.
Oh, okay.
So let's do that.
And give to you
Well, we don't really
all
put
the
potatoes in our muffins usually.
You put all my fears to rest. I bring to you my anxiety. Oh, I am forever blessed. Your passion is always chasing me. You are maker of all things. You are lover of all beings, my redeemer, bearing all my pain. You are Jesus, and I love to sing your name.
Mommy, can I help you?
I see you in everything, such kindness in my own story. Oh, what can obscure the truth? My Father in heaven loves me.
A lot of time has transpired since I last saw you. It is currently 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's been such a whirlwind over the last couple days. We're actually, I think, completely gonna change what we had planned to do for school this year. Yes, we are still planning to homeschool, but what we're doing is changing drastically, and I could honestly cry tears of joy. I have like welled up with emotion a number of times since this, and something kind of accidentally just fell in our laps that just feels like an answer to so many prayers. And so I cannot wait to hopefully share that with you. I do need to first make sure once we have everything here that yes, this is what I think it is. But if it is going to be good, and I am very, very excited about that. So spent a lot of time on that today, trying to get some more things ordered for school. I cannot believe it is almost August, and so that's just really special. I'm very, very excited for school now. Josh and the kids are like, wow, this must be a good one to see you that excited about school. So anyway, that feels like such a gift. And then we also spent quite a bit of time. Josh was really busy on the field here the last couple days, and today he is not on the field, so we were able to just kind of sit down and talk through some things and summer travel plans and all of that. So the day has gone very different from what I was
planning on, but it's been good. Sometimes you just need a day like that to just not constantly be rush. So that was good, but now I am making these sourdough, I don't know what you want to call them, cookies. I started off using my sourdough chocolate chip cookie recipe, but then partway through I'm like, oh, actually throw in some peanut butter in place of some of the butter, which I already wasn't using butter because one of the kids is supposed to be off dairy for a little while. And so they are not going to be as fluffy because I used avocado oil in place of the butter. But then I also put in some peanut butter, and then at the end I was like, it's summertime, we should try a s'more cookie. That reminded me of a cookie we had when I was little that my mom would sometimes make. So I threw in some graham cracker crumbs to add a bit of that flavor because we already had the chocolate chunks. So I'm gonna bake these, hopefully they turn out, and then I wanna broil some marshmallow onto here and make them like a sandwich cookie. So we'll see how they turn out, but that's what we're gonna do now. Obviously, not nearly everything that I had on my to-do list will get done today, but that's okay. When I made the schedule of cleaning my fridge, my stove, and the van every Saturday, I knew there would be weeks when something would come up that it wouldn't happen, or we would go somewhere, or you know, life happens. That's why I scheduled it for every week, so that there was room for it not happening every week. So they're actually in fairly good condition now. My fridge has a ton of tomatoes, so it might be better to do that next week anyway, and hopefully first get some of those canned. But I would like to clean up. Sunday is just so much more restful. Oh, my stove isn't hot yet. Sunday is just so much more restful when the house is clean, and so that's kind of top priority here for me for the rest of today. Finish making these. I do want to whip up some sourdough hamburger rolls for dinner tonight. That's kind of our Saturday night tradition. We love to have burgers Saturday night, and we eat just on paper plates that evening, and it makes for really quick cleanup once the house is hopefully clean. So anyway. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed following along with us over the last couple days and getting a little peek into summer on the farm as a large family. Thank you so much for being here, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, friends. Bye.
Golden, golden thing.